When couples come to see me or join one of my courses, they do it because they're in trouble. I had this couple where the man was a career police officer. He'd been policing for 35 years and he finally retired. And after his retirement party, I get a phone call. He comes to see me. He sits on my couch and he falls apart. He says, "My wife told me today our marriage is over." I'll tell you what happened next and why and how they were able to save their marriage. I'm Dr. Cheryl Fraser. It's great to see you here. And in these series of Love Bite videos, I'm going to be bringing you stories from couples I work with, what their problem was, what they did, and where they got to. Actionable steps you can start applying today. Back to my police officer. This was a tough guy. I don't know that he'd ever shed a tear in his life. And he was on my couch in this office, collapsing, falling apart, sobbing, saying, "My marriage is over and I don't know why." The marriage was over. My job was to help him move on into retirement without his wife. But I reached out to his wife and she did something really kind and really extraordinary. I asked her if she'd be willing to come in once just to explain to her man why it was that the marriage was over for her so that he could maybe try to make sense of it. And she came in and I was really, really humbled by her courage and her strength. She came in. And I said to her, I'll call him John. John told me that you're done, that you need things to be over. And he wants to try to understand why. And she looked at him and she looked at me and she said, "He hasn't told me he loves me in 37 years. And I watched his face and he looked so puzzled and baffled. And he turned to her and without a trace of any sarcasm, just with bewilderment, like a child, he said, "But of course I love you. I married you." And then he said, "When I married you, it meant I loved you. I've loved you every day since our wedding day. And the only reason I would have said anything about it is if I stopped loving you." I'm watching her face. I'm trying to hold back the tears, thinking this marriage is over because this beautiful man, a man of very few words, never said "I love you." We went on and we did some more work together. I'll get back to that in a moment. But what I want to teach all of us here and now is no matter what you feel inside, if you don't express it to your partner, they don't necessarily know. One of my colleagues calls this sharing appreciation. And sharing is the important word here. So what's your take-home message? Make sure today, every day, every week, you make sure to verbally say to your partner how much you appreciate them. Here's a beautiful little exercise. When they get home today, I want you to have thought of one thing you appreciate about your partner. Maybe it's that they're a great mom or a great dad, or they really always take care with their appearance before they head out at the beginning of a day, or you love that they hug you hello when they come home. And instead of just enjoying this awesome thing you appreciate about your mate, I want you to say to them, "Babe, one of the things I really appreciate about you is you are so great at making that moment to hug me at the end of the day when we come back together. I'm often busy, and to be honest, sometimes I know I actually act a little irritated, but you always seek me out. You say, 'Hey babe, how was your day?' And we have a hug. I appreciate that you really invest in our love life in that way." Back to my couple. To my surprise and my delight, after I got this couple talking to each other, he was able to express haltingly in his own way, this was not a talker, this was a doer, that he did love her, he'd always loved her, he had no idea she was feeling that lonely, and they ended up working together and doing a lot of couples therapy, and they ended up actually reconciling, much to my delight, because I'm a couples therapist. My job is to help couples get clear, but I'm also a hopeless romantic. So what I want to see happen is that couples find their way back together when they're torn asunder. That's what these series of videos are going to be about. And what's more, coming up in February, I'm going to be teaching a free live masterclass on the things great couples do well. I call these the 3 keys to passion. The great thing about it is if you show up live, you will have a chance to ask me specific questions about your relationship. There's going to be the teaching about the 3 keys to passion and then a live Q&A with me. I'll stay on as long as there are questions coming in. So if there's something going on in your relationship that's not working or something that's going fantastic and you want to make sure you keep that going well, you'll have a chance to ask me specific questions about you and your beloved. I so look forward to seeing you in the next video where we're going to continue this theme of things that aren't always said or we don't always do that will light our partner up if we make it more deliberate, if we make it more mindful. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and keep love alive. Say it with your words, people. Let them know you appreciate them. Don't assume that they already know. We all like reminders. See you next time.